Emulate the taste of like non-chicken nuggets. So these nuggets are made from chicken, but they're made to emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
Oh, that's much better.
Edit all the blather out of your videos because my time is very precious.
Oh, that's fire.
Make it less teal and more
Cerulean? Sure.
Replace your background with something more fun? The cold void of outer space.
Let's boost that sound quality. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
It needs more style. It needs more clips, more gifs, more. Well, I might have made it too gnarly.
Hello, hello. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Christiana. What's going on?
Just hanging out and feeling excited for how to make templates work for you in Descript this Tuesday with you and all of our friends in the audience. Hi, everybody. I'm Christiana. I'm the community manager here at Descript, and I'm joined by Kevin, our wonderful product education manager, who will be guiding us today as usual. How's it going over there in the Northeast, Kevin?
Oh, it's great. It's a beautiful day today. Shout out to all my fellow Easterners who are loving this weather. It's great.
There's definitely some Northeasterners in the chat, and I'm seeing some West Coasters as well. So that's my side of the country. I'm in Portland, but there's folks from Berlin, Denver, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Virginia,
All
Vegas. Let's go. We've got a lot of folks out there today. So glad you're all here to learn about templates with us. This is one of my favorite features. Was what I was kind of most excited for with the new update. So I'm stoked for this. So we're gonna dive in. First, I have to do my housekeeping though, as usual. And while I'm doing that, let us know what you make in Descript. I'm curious what you use this for. And I'll get sharing. Cool. So this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to walk you through template use cases, social clips, video podcasts, things like that. Lots of examples that will just show you some of the amazing things that you can do with templates to make your life easier. We'll show you how to use stock templates, which are in the Descript gallery. We'll show you how to create your own custom templates, how to use templates for brand kits, saving your logo and your colors and things like that. Template sharing, just the ins and outs of how to get your team hooked up with the beautiful stuff you make, collaboration, and then, of course, Q&A at the end. Ask Kevin anything. Within reason, of course. Okay, in Crowdcast, use the Ask a Question section for questions you have that come up that are product related. Marcelo, our wonderful support hero and bestie and amazing human, is in there, and they'll answer everything that you have there. And then use the chat for reactions and chatting and commentary. I'll be watching that as we go. But yeah, all those supporty questions, send them in, ask a question. Sometimes Crowdcast will freeze, just refresh your browser. But also, we are parallel streaming to YouTube. So if you're just having a tough time, jump over there. I can still see your comments there and your questions. So that's another option for you. This, along with all of our sessions, is being recorded and right on YouTube right now. You can watch as soon as we're done, but we'll also send it out in the follow-up email. And if you need more help, check out the help center at help.descript.com. And of course, our lovely Discord, where 10,000 plus creators are in there now helping each other out. And then lastly, if you are a new or free user, we want to hook you up with Descript Pro for a month to give it a try. You can use that code. And I even have a handy dandy QR code for you. new Restream feature that I'm trying out. So you can scan that
Love it.
as well. Awesome. But we'll make sure you have all that information, the link and the code in the follow-up email. So don't worry if you're scrambling to get that down, because you'll get it later. Sweet. That is it for me, I think. Kevin, am I missing anything? Maybe the classic, this is not a Descript 101 disclaimer.
It's true. It is not a Descript 101 session. We do those every other week. Our next one is next Thursday, April 13th.
Yep.
And those sessions are just like everything Descript can do. We'll cover a full walkthrough of the app and tons of different use cases and features and everything. These sessions are specific to a specific workflow or type of feature or type of content you're creating. And obviously today we're talking about templates. So we won't touch on overdub, or we won't touch on a lot of importing, transcribing, that kind of stuff. We're going to stick with template workflows and the adjacent features that help out with templates.
Totally.
Cool.
Absolutely. And I just shot the next Descript 101 link in the chat. So if you're like, this seems a little too much right now, just join us next Thursday instead. And you can come back and watch this later.
Amazing.
Sweet.
Amazing. So, as always, Descript does not edit for you, right? We have this really amazing tool that we use all the time for creating podcasts or videos and social posts, whatever it might be, product tutorials. But it does take some practice and some time to figure out, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and then using this tool, which we just think makes editing and producing media so much easier. So it does take some time to connect with us on Discord and with our support team to learn the ins and outs, attend some of our events, and then just practice. Take some time, step back, and work on your craft. So when you get to doing the real thing, you feel empowered and confident to do so. Big part of it.
Love it.
Cool. Well, I think we should jump in, yeah?
Let's do it. Let's dive right into the template world.
Love it. All right. So today we're going to talk about the template use cases. A few of those being social posts and caption videos, captioning audio only, perhaps too. Working on presentations. We have some great backgrounds and templates for presentations that you can customize to create your own or just use our stock ones. And then we'll also cover multicam work, which is kind of a sub layer of templates, but pretty common, where you have 2 or more video files that you've brought in probably from an interview, video podcast of sorts. And we want to be able to use templates to change layout, add visuals, that kind of thing. A big thread that Christiana and I have been talking about too, going through this, is templates are going to be the way that we share branded assets. If we're working on a team or we're just even individual independent creators and we want to share with ourselves, basically, right? We're saving settings and we're saving layouts, that kind of stuff. So it's our way of making a brand kit in Descript. And we'll go through how to use our stock templates, how to save an existing project as a template, and then how to start from scratch and create templates on your own. Should be great.
Awesome.
All right. So here is our beautiful Descript. We have our scenes rail on the side, which we're going to use a lot in templates. We have our script, which is our transcribed material from this video. We have our canvas, which we'll use a lot as well. And we have our timeline that we probably won't use very much in templates, but note that it's there. It's resizable. You'll be using it a lot if you're just editing your foundation media, your audio or video that you've brought in. And note that it's down there if you need to make some more precision edits. Check out our help center if you want to learn more about the timeline as well. Okay. So this is a single video, single MP4 that we brought in from our friends at Chili Piper. And we're going to start really simple of just how we use templates. We'll get back to importing and transcribing too as we replicate this workflow a little bit, but we're starting out here with the video that we've dragged and dropped in. It's transcribed for us and we're ready to start going. So our templates viewer is up here at the top. and we have two menu options. We have My Templates. That's where all of your templates that you save and publish will show up, or folks that you're working with on a shared drive. We'll talk about that later too. But then we also have this gallery, which is free for all Descript users, free creator or pro plans, or enterprise if you're using that at work. And there's just a bunch of great templates for all of these categories. It's intro, slides, just some caption styles and layouts. And for those that are using multicam, we'll get into some multicam stuff in a bit. Audiograms, when you're starting with audio only, you just want to create an audiogram. That's where these live now. These are all customizable. Excuse me. So as you add templates, you can customize all of these visuals when you select them in your canvas. So let's start simple. Maybe, Christiana, some captions for this video, and we'll change the orientation, something like that.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Cool. So we're going to go to our captions section. And when we're ready to add a template, we're just going to click it. And it's going to add all of the visual elements here. So you can kind of audition each of these by hovering over them and see which one you like the most. And you click, and it's going to add those in. You have this option to match the orientation. So that's going to match the orientation of the template itself. In that case, it was vertical. So it's just your decision what you're making there. But if you do choose to do that, you click match orientation, and it's going to change the orientation of your video quick and easy, just like that. So things like captions are going to follow along in our transcript. So all of the text that we have in our transcript should be accurate. So it shows up on our screen as a correct caption.
Being reactive is unfortunately just part of the game.
And once you've added a template, you're going to use this canvas as kind of our visual viewer to make any changes that you like. So you can resize media, move it around, select items, put them where you want. Tons of options here. These all resize and reshape as you need them to. So if you only want a single line, all that kind of stuff. So just like that, we have a pretty quick starting point.
Being reactive is unfortunately just part of the game. So I think there's like some percentage of all of our days that is spent being reactive because.
Great. So it's a pretty quick and easy way to add captions to a video using templates, and then you can export this out, publish it, and you're good to go. That's probably our foundation one, is using a single visual template, deciding what you want your orientation of your video to be. In this case, we went with portrait, but if we ever wanted to change that back or choose a different one, we could go back to landscape or go to square. And all of this stuff is going to resize with us. So option here also is just to reset the crop or be able to change the layout as well if you wanted to kind of resize some of this and get this looking and feeling better for the layout that you have.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, so option one, simple, easy to use templates. I'm going to make a new composition out of this same file, and we'll go a layer up. So it's the same video, just a different version, different edit of it. And we'll go back up to our templates. There's a bunch more options here if you wanted active text with the playhead that follows along. Those are all really great to mess around with. Different colors for the active word, all customizable as you're going. So we can scan through, find some different options here, some really great vertical options. We have some annotations if you're ever bringing up on-screen items that you want to point to. But let's go with one of these. So I'm going to go with daybreak. I'll match the orientation again because I want to keep that in vertical. And here we have a few different options. In this specific template, we have a title, which we might want to change. So we just change that text, double click it. We have these two icons that we can mess around with and put in different places, delete, keep, whatever we want to do. And as we're working in the canvas, this kind of just brings up general visual editing for a video. Is I'm clicking and dragging these elements around, but we also have some snapping happening. So you can see they're snapping to this grid. You can disengage that by holding Command or Control on your keyboard. So clicking that, dragging around, hold Command, and then where you drop it is going to be a little bit more accurate and not snap to those grids, which can be really helpful for that precision change. All right, here's what we got.
So I think there's like some percentage of all of our days that is spent being reactive, because at the end of the day, that's just marketing. Like we
Great. Quick
That's
and easy
good.
way to make a change of this too might be click the captions here, go to live text, click these settings. You can change the color of the active word in this case. So I'm like, actually, I would love this to be a green. You can go and find a nice green. That's done. And now I've customized.
reactive, because
this
at the end
template.
of the day, that's just marketing. Like we all need to hop.
Simple and easy.
Love it.
Cool. All right, we'll do one more thing, and then we can take a pause and answer some questions before we move on to creating our own and using our own templates.
Cool.
Sound good? All right. So we're going to kind of dig a little bit deeper into customizing existing templates. I'll create a new composition from this same video, version number 3. And I'm going to go back in. And we'll go with one of these captions. In this case, I'm going to keep the orientation. I'm going to keep this as landscape. So I'll just X out of that. Resize this so it's only one line.
Reactive is
Cool. And now I know I'm working maybe for a team, or I have my own brand guidelines that I want to follow. And I want to use this layout, kind of just customize it a little bit more. So I'm going to go into the fill if I want to change the fill color of the text of the captions. And then in the live text, I'll go into those settings again if I want to change the active word or the future words. In this case, it's that kind of translucent, somewhat opaque color. So I can mess around with that. In this case, I want to have this be a little bit more branded. And I know that maybe I have a hex code or an RGB code, or one of these is within our brand. And I can make that change to match my brand
reactive
guidelines.
is unfortunately just part of the game. So I think there's like some percentage of all of our day.
And the last step is, you know what? My stock templates from Descript don't have my company logo, obviously. So I'm going to go into folder on my computer where I have all of my branded assets for my team. And I'm just going to drag and drop in my company's logo. So you can't see that on my computer, but I'm just clicking that file, dragging it and dropping it in, and it's going to add it for me. There's my Chili Piper logo. Resize this. Get it looking how I need to. Great. So I've used the stock template for captions from Descript. I've brought in my own logo, and we're looking pretty good.
Step back, pull yourself out of the weeds, understand your conversion metrics throughout the funnel, and look very strategically at.
Oh, great. So we'll pause here to take some questions, but our next step is going to be taking this template that we now have just created, kind of a version 2 of a stock template, and saving it for later use.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Awesome. Okay, I'll throw some questions at you then. Let's see here. Does a caption template apply to new scenes automatically?
Great question. Yeah. We're going to get into that when we cover multi-scene templates,
Great.
but templates are applied at the scene level. So you can see that this is a single scene video, just one scene from start to finish. So any visual that I add is going to add it from start to end. If I had a second scene for this section of the video, if I add a visual element to this first scene right here, it's only going to add it to the first scene. And that's all. So I have a couple options when we get there. We're going to talk about extending that in the timeline, or also using our script ahead of time to just use Command or Control A to select all. And then when you drop any visual on a full selection, it'll add it to the entire video as well. So by default, a single visual is going to add to the scene that you have selected or that your cursor is in, but we have some really quick and easy ways to make that change as well.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. Next up, let's see. There's been a few questions about how to remove templates or switch templates if you don't like the one you picked. So what's the best way to remove a template?
Great question. So let's, I'll just delete some of these visuals. I'm just clicking them and deleting them. It'll remove them wherever they exist. I'm going to add a template again, drop that in, and I play it.
There's like some percentage of.
Ooh, I don't like that. I'm going to Command or Control Z to undo. For any type of media creation, Command or Control Z to undo is going to be a huge time saver for you to just revert back to the way it was before and then go back and find a different template. There's one you're like,
I
play
think there's
through.
like some.
Oh, don't like that. Command or Control Z to undo, or go up to the Edit menu, Descript D, Edit, and Undo. Now, if you've been like working for a while or maybe even days, weeks, and you have a template applied and you're working through and then you get some feedback, you're like, actually, we don't like that template. What you can do is just delete those visuals from your canvas and apply a new template, just like that. When you delete a visual from a single scene, it's only going to delete that visual from that scene and not the rest of the video or the rest of wherever that visual shows up. So a couple different options as you're working.
Perfect. Cool. Cool. I'll throw in one last quick one, and then I think the rest of the questions we'll cover later when we talk about multi-scene templates. But on you mentioned adding logos and things like that. And I brought this up because I think it's a great feature request, but I don't think we have it yet. Is there an eyedropper tool for font color or background color?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. But Lou, I want that very bad. I'm right there with you. That's like my best friend in Canva. So yes, definitely submit that as a feature request. And you'll get a upvote from me. I'll tell you that.
Me too.
Sweet.
Me too.
Awesome. Okay, but I think we're good to keep chugging.
Cool.
Sweet.
The last thing I want to mention too, our bub Marcelo reminded me, is our version history, which can get a little bit more complicated as you're editing. But if you ever want to restore a previous version of a project, which will include all of the compositions, all the edits within the project, you can restore from a previous version by going to the Descript menu, File, and Version History. And then you can see different versions of this project, view them, and then restore them. So you can kind of go back in time and restore from that specific point in time. That'll help a lot too if you need to undo stuff or revert.
Awesome.
Cool.
Actually, really quick, Kevin, can I snag in a question from YouTube?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sweet. It's really quick. Just because we've been working with the canvas, does the number of visual elements on the canvas impact the export time?
Ooh, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I wonder if maybe Marcelo knows the answer.
Cool.
But it's a good question.
Yeah, good question. Jeremy, we'll get the answer and I'll send it in the chat for you. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Let's keep chugging.
Sweet. Okay, so let's go back, add this template that we just added, make the change that we wanted to, choose that color. Throw our logo in. And we have this template now that we've created pretty customized.
Our days that is spent being reactive, because at the end of the day, that's just marketing.
Now we're like, I would love to be able to use this tomorrow when I make a similar video with a different guest or different person, or it's me talking about a different topic, whatever it is. And I don't want to recreate the wheel every single time. So very quick and easy. You can take a scene in your scene rail here, right click it, and save to a template. And that's going to bring you through the template publishing process. So you can make any final changes if you need to, name it, publish it, and then it will show up in the My Templates area of this templates viewer. So all of my custom templates pop up right here. And we'll go through that once we create some custom templates. So just note, all your work is really easily savable per scene by selecting a single scene and clicking Save to Template. In the near medium future, you will be able to select multiple scenes and save multiple templates at once. But right now, it's a single scene at a time. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. So let's bring in some different media here. I'm going to open this up and grab a file. I'm going to bring in 2 video files from a video interview. So it's Marilyn's camera and microphone as an MP4. And Petra's microphone and camera is another MP4. These are combined into a multi-track sequence, which you can learn more about at our Help Center, but it's our way of combining 2 or more files together, kind of in the background under the hood, so that we can still edit with one script and one timeline, which is just great. So this will transcribe for us. We have these 2 video files, and we're going to do a few different things here, but this is this multicam approach to templates. We'll also start to incorporate different scenes if we have multiple scenes within this edit and we want to have different layouts or different visuals pop up, anything like that for a specific scene in a video edit. By default, you can see we have a single scene. So anytime you bring in media, import, transcribe it, you'll start with a single scene if it's a video project. If it's audio only, scenes aren't used. We just have our script and our timeline. But when we have video projects, yeah, we're going to have that single scene. So any visual that's added, like we said earlier, it's going to start at the beginning and end at the end of the video. All right, so here's what we got.
My name is Marilyn Moser.
I'm going to start right there. So I'm just going to edit this text out so we have a nice clean start to our interview.
My name is Marilyn Moser. I am the influencer marketing manager here at Descript, and I am
cool. So not template specific, but it's going to empower us to do a bunch in the multicam workflow, is that I'm going to use this magic menu to go to add scenes by active speaker. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a scene for every time we change speakers. So when Marilyn starts speaking, that's going to be a scene. And then when Petra speaks, it'll be another scene. And it's also going to full screen each of their videos for us. So we don't have to do that. It's a nice like active speaker view. So I'll click that. Beautiful. Now we have 4 scenes, one for Marilyn, one for Petra, another for Marilyn, and another for Petra. So now what we can do with each of these scenes is add templates, change layout, zoom in, zoom out if we need to. We can always add more scenes if we need to make visual changes, but it just starts us off at a little bit of an elevated place where we can really adjust what these scenes are going to look like, especially tied to when a different speaker starts. All right, so let's look at adding something to this whole video, which is a very common thing. It's like, oh, I've made a bunch of scenes, but I actually just want my logo in the bottom right-hand corner, or I want the captions to be the same throughout the entire video. We'll start there, and then we'll do some adding of templates per scene. So I'm going to add some captions throughout this entire video really quick. So we talked about that shortcut, Command or Control A in the script, and that's going to select all of the script. So I'm going Command A, select all. Now, any visual that I choose at this point, it's going to add it to this whole selection. So in this case, it's from start to finish. And this is what we do if we have multiple scenes. Let's go in and captions. And we'll go, let's go with this green one. Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. Looking pretty good. We'll resize a little bit. Get this looking how we want to. Yeah, all right.
Musician, wonderful independent musician, myth.
Again, you can continue to customize this however you want in the sidebar by selecting the visual, going to this properties panel and changing any property that you'd like. So if you're like, oh, I actually don't like rubato, I want Inter. You can download that and it'll add that to your drive. All right. So I removed my selection. I wanted to replicate this really common mistake that I make all the time. I removed my selection by adding these captions. And you can see the captions only last for this first scene. If you look really closely, you can see they're only on that first scene. Second scene, captions are gone, 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 gone. Really quick and easy way to have these captions last for the whole video, if that's what you want, or multiple scenes, is we're going to use our timeline. So I'm going to select them in the canvas here. And you can see this blue clip shows up in the timeline and it stops right there. So what I can do is hover over the end of it and just extend it how long I want it to go. I'm going to go right to the end of the video. So now I have captions that last the entire video.
Of these new platforms. Fantastic. So the first thing I want to know is
March 15th, 2020. Absolutely.
Just like that. Now, the second layer of this is I have a visual that lasts multiple scenes. So big part, if I make any changes to these visuals, it's only going to happen to that first scene by default. It's a big quirk of this multi-scene work. So if I'm working in here.
My name is Marilyn Moser. I am the influencer.
And I change the border to be a little bit thicker. You can see this button pops up, which is going to allow me to apply that change to all the scenes that this visual shows up in. So if I click that, that'll happen. But if I make a change and I forget to click that, and I click off, it goes away. Really easy thing I can do is select that visual, go up to these three dots, and apply the properties of this visual to all the scenes where it shows up. Like so.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
Sweet. Question on that from YouTube. When you were using the timeline to extend those captions, could you also just highlight all the text and do the same?
Not necessarily. Okay. So yeah, if I'm here and I have captions that last just for the first scene, I'm here and I'm like, okay, I have these great captions of the first scene, but second scene, my captions are gone. I go back to the first scene, select those captions, and there's no other way at this point to get these quickly, at least, to all of the other scenes.
Okay.
I can copy these and paste them in one at a time.
Yeah.
That's helpful. That's really easy to do, but you do have to do it one at a time. So you can copy elements to different scenes. I can also just copy this first scene and paste it here. And it's going to bring along both the camera view in this multi-track case and the captions, but that's not what we want for this case, right? We just want to be able to capture those captions across. So
Cool.
quickest way is select, if you want this timeline to be a little bit bigger, you can also do that. But we're going to select that visual and just extend it how long we want it to go.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Good question. All right. Any other questions we can hit about this multi-scene kind of flow before we just dig deeper into it?
Yeah, maybe we'll want to dig deeper into this, but you might have actually already set the stage for this question. How do you add multiple sequential templates? I'm guessing that would just be scene by scene, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Scene by scene. So if, let's see here, I'm gonna say I want different layout or different style of captions or different background, anything like that for a different scene.
Mm-hmm.
I would apply that to the first scene. Then I'll go to the second scene, find the template that I want, drop that in, make any changes that I need to it. Where
Awesome.
are we? Cool. And then go in that way. At that point, I could just save this as my Maryland view maybe, or I could just copy the scene properties and paste it where I want it to go. And the same thing here.
Cool.
And paste it through. So then every time Petra is speaking, I'll have a nice
We're
different
all
layout
bitches.
for her. And then the same thing for Marilyn.
Amazing. Okay.
Cool.
We can go that way.
Sweet. And then last question, I think relevant to this, also from YouTube. I'm not sure if you'll hit on this topic, but can you tell me how to assign a waveform to one speaker? Like, can you assign visual elements in the canvas to a specific speaker?
So you can do a couple different things. Let's go. Yeah. Just gonna delete some visuals and build this again. So we can have these captions that last the whole video. And we can have speaker name. So it'll show just who's speaking at that time. It'll show their speaker label. It's really helpful. In the caption settings for live text here, we can also filter by the speaker. So only when Marilyn is speaking will we show this style of caption. So you can see here, let me go to scene number 2 when Petra's speaking. And
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Marilyn.
No captions.
Hello, Descript. I'm so happy to be here.
Amazing. Okay, fantastic.
and then they'll only be active when Marilyn is speaking. So the same thing is true for these. If I add captions again, I could have these settings set. Oops, there we are, for Petra. So then I could have some different settings for Petra when she's speaking.
And hello,
Yay.
Descript. I'm so happy to be here.
Amazing.
So then each of them have their own captions track. Just another way to kind of do the same thing. But those captions, those clips at least, will last the whole video. So then you can make changes to them, filter them really easily, and have different layouts and different settings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Great question. Cool. Well, there's definitely lots of great questions happening. Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
being active in the chat, but we can keep pushing and save those for the Q&A if there's anything else you want to cover before we jump into those.
Cool. Let's do one more thing with this Marilyn and Petra conversation, and then we'll get into creating our own and pause for some questions in between that.
Great.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to create a new composition from this sequence up here. Start fresh. delete the beginning part. So we start here.
My name is Marilyn Moser.
Great. Okay. So again, this is our default view side by side when we bring in two files from an interview like this. And I've created a custom template for Marilyn and Petra. I have this side by side one and a vertical one. Let's go with our vertical portrait and match orientation again. Nice layout. 2 clicks and I have
Marilyn Moser. I am the influencer marketing manager.
Great looking template ready to go with all my branded stuff. So let's talk about making this from the ground up. There's 3 things that we started with. One is just having them side by side, or in this case, top and bottom. I have an ellipsis here, an ellipsis there. I have some captions that are dropped in. I made some rounded corners, added a background, but the big things are the visuals that I've changed on in this template, in this scene. So the way we'd replicate this whole process is I'm going to make the thing that I want to make anyways, and then I'll save that for later. So I'm not going through and publishing a template first and then applying it. We can just kind of create a round trip really quickly. So first thing, I know I want this portrait. Go portrait. Quick thing I did just stylistically was I changed the layout. So we have rounded corners for each of them. Looking good. I use the canvas to resize. Get these looking pretty good. Nice and lined up with each other. I dropped in those 2 circles or ellipses. So I went up to our shapes right here. Dropped one in there. Resized it a little bit. I just made that look a little goofy. I'll use that Command Z to make it look better. And I'll add one more. Put that in the bottom right corner. And I changed the fill for each of these 2. So I went in, I knew I had a specific fill that I wanted. Go with this green, and we'll go with a lighter blue. Cool. Very spring. The last step before I added captions was I just changed the background of this scene. So you can see the default background for every scene, if you have empty space, is this black frame. And by selecting the scene, I went in, clicked background, and then changed this color to exactly what I wanted. Maybe do a little resize and make this bigger. They're pretty small. Cool. I'll use the arrows too to get some more fine-tune adjustments on the canvas on my keyboard. Last step, some quick captions. Drop those in. Captions remember your last used settings when you create them manually. Something to note as well. Oh, it looks like we got some scenes here.
Performs, that's where she's
Cool. I have these captions set up for me, and I can change them real quick if I need to. Make my background.
and I am so honored and wonderfully excited.
Cool. And I don't love that green, so I'm going to remove that and just make it white.
To be chatting with my good friend and musician, wonderful independent musician, Miss Petra Gerard.
Cool.
She's coming to us today from New York City, and where she actually performs. That's where she's based.
Great. So I've replicated essentially the look and feel of that template that I made prior, and now I'm ready to save this. So I'm going to go through and save this template and start to publish it and go through. So then when I go and work on my next video or my next interview, if Marilyn is our host of our show and she's interviewing someone else, I have this layout saved for, maybe this is my like TikTok post or something, or a reel post. I can go in and apply this template really quickly after I've saved it and not have to do the last 6 minutes of work that I just did, and really save myself tons and tons of time as I start moving forward. So a big part of templates is not only like saving them, publishing them, applying them, but knowing how to create them from the beginning and using this canvas to get your super customized look and feel, so that you only have to do that once, save those settings, save those visuals as a template so they're published, and then you can apply them quick and easy.
Awesome. That looks great. Kevin,
Right. Yeah, let's do it.
can I make a request, actually?
Yeah, please.
Could you show off grabbing something from our stock media library and using it as a background?
Definitely.
Cool.
So this will overlay over this black background. You can do this with any image, any shape, anything you want. We're going to go up to the media library right here and go to videos. And we have these really great animated backgrounds. Some of them are real footage, some of them are animations. There's just so much in here.
So cool.
Yeah. Some are pretty far out.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. So to add a background, you're just going to click it. And here's where we introduce the concept of scene layers. So scenes are organized like a stack of papers. The more visuals we have different stacks of papers that are maybe spread out and not touching each other, or sometimes they're stacked on top of each other, like in this case. Our background is over the top of all of these different visual elements. Same thing with our captions down here. These captions are over the top of that circle, that ellipse. So what we can do is reorder this stack of papers. We can resize, and then we end up covering up everything. Like, where is all my stuff? I want to have this as a background, not a foreground. A quick and easy way to change the order of this stuff is by right-clicking it and deciding where you want it to sit in the layer order. So it's all the way at the front, so I can't move it forward. I can't bring it to the front, but I could move it a layer backwards, or I could just send it all the way to the back. And that's what I want to do for a background. Just like that. And now it's there.
Awesome. Yeah, I love highlighting that because it's just the limit. There's no limits on like the ways that you can customize this and add interesting background videos and images and GIFs to make these like really pop. So definitely spend some time just exploring the stock media library and having fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. A common thing that happens to me though is when I'm editing is this will be all the way in the front and I want to move just one specific element and I just can't see it at that very moment because maybe it's covered by a different layer or I'm just like have stuff going on in my edit. Instead of right-clicking each individual element to reorder them and go through, what you can super quickly do is select your scene, and you'll see in the properties panel, we have all of our different layers, all of our different visuals that exist. So I can easily focus them and click it, and now it's focused and selected in the canvas here, and I can right-click it and change the order of it really quick. So another option when you're working with scene layers is just select that scene and you can see all the layers that are active.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.
My name is Marilyn Moser.
Wow.
I am the influencer marketing manager.
Look at that. All right, I'm going to add a quick background to this text so we can see it.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
My name is Marilyn Moser.
Okay. I'm just going to remove live text.
Honored and
Great.
marketing manager here at Descript, and I am
much better. Okay, so now we're going to publish this. Our publishing flow will open another window, so I'm not going to do that for our screen sharing abilities here. But what we would do is right-click the scene and save this to a template. We can then choose the existing template that we have, and it'll just drop it into that template ready to go for us, or we can create a new template. It's going to add the scene, and then it would open up a new Descript window for us. So I'm just, you can't see that right now, but I'm going to label it New Marilyn and Petra, and we'll go and find that template really quick. So the way we get to our templates publishing center, we're going to go back to projects, click the Descript D, and then we're going to go into templates right here. I just need to refresh so this shows up. There we are. Cool. So we have this. This is the template that we just created from that project we were working on. It's going to look really similar. It's going to look like a Descript project, except the big change that we have here is when we make any changes to this template, we're going to have the option to publish those changes. You can publish individual scenes. You can have multiple compositions. This is where you might label it. This is far out. Top and bottom video. Portraits. Decide if we want this shared with the other members of our drive. If we're collaborating, you do that right here. It can be private, shared with drive, or shared publicly. So if you share a link with someone, they can open it and create a duplicate of it or anything like that. But we'll share it with our drive. And we click publish those changes, and we're done. Now that template always lives in this template area on our drive and in our template viewer as we go through and edit a project. You can see it right here. And there's that template. Looking good.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Should we just go back to that blank project and show applying it really quick?
Sounds great.
Cool.
Yeah, so here's a raw version of this interview. Marilyn Petra. I'm going to go to New Marilyn Petra, and we have that here. We just click it, click Match Orientation, done.
Awesome.
So 6 minutes of work compressed to 3 seconds.
Love it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
All right.
Cool. Someone asked if you could show how to apply that to like a different example, like a different video, just to show how it would deal with that.
Sure. It's a multicam layout, so there's going to be some funkiness, but do it from our Chili Piper video. We'll drop this in, match orientation.
Percentage of all of our days that
We're obviously missing a video here because there's just a placeholder now because it was multicam, but we can just delete that, recenter this stuff.
need to hop on the latest trend, and we all need to be very relevant and
Good to go. So we can use the same kind of brand kit, design, layout for any style of audio or video.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. Wow. Good stuff. People are loving it. So yeah, this is awesome.
Great. I'd love to show off if we have time, and we can answer some questions for sure. We have a few minutes left, but I'd also love to show off audio only templates and applying a template to an audio only project. If
Perfect.
That'd be cool.
Let's do it. Yep. There was a question about that. So perfect.
Okay. This is just a an ad from a 99% visible episode, but a great piece of audio that we can use. So with audio only projects, depending on our settings and our app settings, we might have audio as our default project. This was a video project, so it has the video canvas and whatnot. We can always switch a composition to be audio only or video by going to File, Set Composition to Audio or Video. If it's audio only, it's just going to have our script and timeline. And if it's video, it'll have that canvas and scene rail. But this is how it would typically look if we were working with an audio only project.
Wireless speakers for your home. They sound great. The audio is really clear. And I love that you can adjust.
Great. We love Sonos. Okay, so you have this audio only thing and you're like, I would love to just make this visually, aesthetically pleasing in some way so I can use it on any video platform. You can apply all of your templates, certainly. So if I added this one that we just added, I can match the orientation, and here's what I have.
Wireless speakers for your home. They sound great. The audio.
Right, there's no placeholders because there's no video, but I have these captions, so I could always just make these full screen and kind of have this.
Listening to some hip hop like Doomtree, the Midwest Hip Hop Collective, you can bring up the
anything like that. Pretty good and easy. However, if I don't want to do that and I want to start with like more kind of classic looking audiogram, we have a bunch of great audiogram templates in the gallery. So the same thing, it's true for this, is I can use one of these stock audiogram templates, quick and easy. Just drop this in, brings all of these visual components around the canvas.
Beautiful wireless speakers for your home. They sound great. The audio is really clear.
And now I can start to go through and completely customize these. I can, change the background or bring in some stock footage to have a different background. All the things that we've been doing with templates ring true. And after I make all of these changes, I can then go through and save this as a template. So then I have my own customized audiogram that saved me at least half the time that I would have if I was building this from the ground up. So it gives me all the elements, customize them, change the font, color of stuff, background, bring in my logo, whatever, and drop that in easily. The best part is you can just use the stock ones however you'd like. These look and sound great.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, Christiana, we have 2 more mats. Should we lighten it around some questions?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. So when you applied the template we made with Marilyn and Petra to the Chili Piper video, as you said, there was a placeholder. Could you just drop a new video into that empty frame, or does it have to be applied to media that already has 2 video tracks?
Your best bet is to apply the template to existing media that you have in your script and timeline.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
You could put another element in there, but from like a different interview, it would you'd have some trouble getting that lined up. So you want to start with interview audio, multicam audio and video, and then drop in your template. But if you're going to put in like some stock footage or a logo right there or anything like that, you could certainly do that. But yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, maybe last question. I've seen this a few times.
Okay.
What happens to the script in the videos when you add a template? I think can you clarify or underline the fact that only elements are copied to the templates? It will never impact your actual media or what the person is saying, right?
Yes. Cool. So what we're templatizing is the layout, size, and types of visual elements we have in the canvas. So our captions are always referencing the script. Captions are always going to be referencing the script and showing what's in the script on the screen. So if you have a different video that you've recorded and you apply captions to it or use a template from this, it'll just mirror what you have in that new script media. What we're templatizing is the placement of all this stuff, the colors that we use, the background, the layout of this video. Unless we start from scratch with the template, So if we create a new composition and start from a template, that's the only way we would be starting with some specific script media.
This is placeholder media, replaced to take full advantage of this template.
Which is a workflow, but today, for our purposes today, the best recommendation we can make is start by importing and transcribing audio or video, editing and applying templates after the fact. And all of the visual elements, the layout, placement will be added to that project that you're working on.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Maybe one last quick one, which is just, how do I delete templates I no longer want?
Ooh, good question. We'll go back to our drive, back to projects, go to templates here, and then just right click and delete.
Cool.
Like so.
Awesome.
But make sure you really want to delete it, because there is no trash bin. It is gone after you delete.
No takesies backsies, as I like to say.
No takesies backsies. The best part is if I go back to that project where I added it to, I could still just save this as a new template again and republish it. But
got it. Cool. So it won't automatically delete all the areas where you've applied that template.
Nope. It'll just not show it in this templates picker anymore.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, we are at time. But this was awesome and super helpful. Kevin, thank you so much.
Thank you for being such a great host, as always.
Oh my gosh, it was my pleasure. And yeah, this audience made it super easy. You guys rock. Thank you for being here and for all of your amazing questions. We would love your feedback in the poll section. Let us know how we did, how you felt about this content, and also how you feel about Descript in general. This is recorded. It's available on YouTube right now, but we'll also send it out in a follow-up email, of course. Other plugs that I have here is to join the Descript community Discord. There's 10,000 plus creators in there helping each other out, sharing tips, giving us feedback. Would love for you to join. You can just scan that QR code. And that's also where we host our office hours. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, Marcelo will be going live in there, and you can answer any questions that you have or ask any questions you have, and he'll answer them. And that's a really great way to stay up to date on our events. We do events every week like this. Next week we have a 101. So check out Discord, check out our Crowdcast. And of course, if you're new, score a month of free Descript Pro on us. Scan that, and you'll get a free month. So check it out. Great. Someone said, this is awesome, but I'd like a part 2. That's amazing feedback. So we can definitely get that set up and do another one of these. So yeah. And come to a 101. Sometimes we hit on templates there. So yeah. Awesome. And I'll throw all those links in the chat as well. All right. Time to set everyone free. Kevin, this was a blast. And yeah, thanks so much. And I'll see you next time.
See y'all. Thanks.
Bye, guys.